NoFap ruined my life, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my personal experience and results after more than 180 days of NoFap, because all I see on YouTube these days is guys talking about the benefits of NoFap. And though it's true that NoFap can have a lot of benefits, it definitely did for me. It helped me reverse the negative side effects that pornography had on my brain. But the truth is that there is a bigger picture, and past a certain point it can actually begin to have severe negative side effects, and that is exactly what I will be sharing with you in this video. So between the ages of 16 to 21 years old, I was addicted to internet pornography. Every single morning, every single night, I was going through the motions of jacking my beanstalk, of busting my nuts to the point where there were no more nuts to bust, okay? I had this vision in my head of who I was capable of being as a strong, grounded, confident, contributing member of society that's offering value to people and every life that I touch. I had these ambitions. I had this world of potential that's living within me, but I couldn't follow through on it. I had low energy. I was suffering from chronic fatigue. I had anxiety. I couldn't talk to people, and I was lacking the drive and motivation to actually follow through on this. And that caused me to experience these lower emotions of feeling like I was a failure as a man, okay? Because I knew I was capable of so much, but because I wasn't showing up as that, in that gap is where I was experiencing those lower emotions. Think about it. Depression is the opposite of expression. And when we're not expressing the most capable version of ourselves, when we're not living up to our potential, that is when we begin to experience those lower emotions, and those lower emotions are actually a signal for us to address something that is unaddressed, to move in a different direction, because the current direction is not really fulfilling your soul, okay? That's what I sincerely believe, that the large epidemic that we're experiencing, this mental health crisis, is because people are not living up to who they're capable of living up as. And I've seen that personally in my own life, because when I've been able to follow through on my commitments to myself, that is when I have been feeling the best about myself. And when I was making commitments to myself that I was gonna quit watching porn because I knew it was having a negative side effect on me, I knew that it was holding me back from living up to who I was capable of living up as. But when I would find myself in the room lying alone, feeling that uncomfortable feeling, like I would, just feeling uncomfortable, I would escape from that feeling by putting on some porn, busting a nut, and then going to sleep, all right? So I was making these commitments to myself, but I was consistently failing to live up to them. And because I was not living up to my own word, I was actually losing my own self-respect. And that is around the time where I discovered the NoFap community online, okay? That is when I first realized that I'm not alone in this, that there are a lot of guys that are going through the same thing, that are dealing with the same situation as I am, and I could actually discuss my situation with them rather than holding it all inside, feeling like all of this emotional baggage is here and that I'm the only one in this world. I could actually share my experience with others, connect with others, and go ahead and follow through on these challenges that they were holding on the community as well, all right? And these challenges are what really changed the game for me, because the fact is I knew I needed to quit, but I wasn't actually doing it. And we can know what to do, but we still don't do it. And the reason is because I feel there is no accountability involved. We don't have the leverage to follow through on our intentions. And because I had this accountability from someone outside of me, because I was part of the community that was moving in the same direction, I was actually able to continue stacking up the days, and I was finally able to get rid of this pornography addiction to the point where I carried on stacking the days, where it was like 186 was the last day I kept count, all right? Now, this is where things took a turn for the negative, because I realized that there is a difference between NoFap and sexual transmutation, between NoFap and semen retention, okay? Everyone who's talking about it on YouTube right now thinks that it's all the same thing, but the truth of the matter is, when you're practicing NoFap, you are actually not transmuting that sexual energy. You're carrying it all around you, and when that energy is not transmuted, that is when I began to experience some very severe sexual frustration, to the point where I was carrying this anger, this rage within me, and I was just not being the type of person that I wanted to be. I was expressing anger towards others. I was always judging other people, and at the end of the day, I still felt like I was not living up to who I'm capable of being, because a core value for me is kindness, is compassion, of leaving people better than I found them. But I found myself in this judgmental attitude of just being a very negative person person who was always just thinking that I'm above everyone else and just, you know, judging people, like I said. Okay. And another conflict that I experienced is that as I was going through getting over my social anxiety, talking to girls, I found that because I had all of the sexual energy inside me, they were responding to me very effectively, very positively. But when it would get to the later stages, I would go through premature ejaculation. I couldn't last as long as I wanted. I had erectile dysfunction to the point where after all those premature ejaculations, I had performance anxiety, and that was causing me to experience erectile dysfunction as well. So NoFap is a large reason that I was going through this, because I was not having that sexual exposure. I was not able to express my sexual energy, and because it was so on edge, it would just get loose as soon as I would even get to like first base or something like that. And that was a situation where I couldn't even sustain a relationship with a girl, because I was going through this performance anxiety of sexual anxiety, because I had suppressed all of this sexual energy at the end of the day. And that is when I started a different journey, when I was like, this is not that they're all that there is. Although I feel like I have this untapped energy resource within me, I feel like it's not properly being expressed, right? It's being expressed too fast, or it's not being expressed enough, because my mind is causing me to have this performance anxiety. And that is what led me down a different path. That is when I began to study the works of ancient Taoism, of Tantra, of the works of Master Mantak Chia. And that is when I discovered that there's actually a difference between ejaculation and orgasm. Okay, when we're going through NoFap, it's because we're rewiring our brains from all of the negative effects of pornography. But on the other level, we realize that orgasmic energy permeates every cell of our being. Okay, that's what they say in Taoism. And the more we can experience it, it's some of the highest stuff that we can experience. And as I dove deeper into all of these Tantra and Taoism works, I realized that this is not something that needs to be suppressed. This is something that needs to be transmuted up from the balls to the sacrum, up the spine to the head. And when we can go ahead and implement this practice in our lives, where we let go of this identification as a porn addict, counting our days every single day, you know, that is when you're reinforcing the fact that you need to count because you're still an addict. But once you transcend that identity and are able to separate between orgasm and ejaculation, then you can go to the point where you meet someone, you form a deep connection with them, and you're able to have a passionate, fulfilling relationship with them, whereby you're not letting go of your life force, you're still having that very fulfilling sexual relationship, but at the same time you're preserving your life force and able to show up as the most capable version of yourself. All right, so past a certain point, like I said, NoFap can have some severe negative side effects. It can cause you to carry this anger, this sexual frustration, this rage within you that really holds you back from showing up as the person that you're capable of showing up as. It holds you back from actually experiencing a deep, fulfilling relationship with someone else. All right. And really, that is some of the deepest experience that I've had in my life, to experience those higher states of consciousness. Because in these ancient traditions of Taoism and Tantra, sex for them was a bridge towards deeper levels of consciousness. For spirituality, it is one and the same, okay? And the more we can begin to implement these practices, the more we can have our cake and eat it too, all right? In society, they say, if you want your cake, you can't eat it too, right? But why would you want a cake if you can't eat it? And semen retention is the path towards going there. And of course, there are a bunch of practices which I can talk about in other videos. Leave a comment below if you want me to do so. But the fact is that NoFap is not a lifestyle, right? It is definitely a stepping stone in the right direction, but it is not something you do for your whole life, because there's a difference between ejaculation and orgasm. You can retain your life force and you can experience even more intense orgasms than you experience with ejaculation, okay? If you want me to make more videos on that, leave a comment below. I can definitely do that. But there's also an entire course that I've created around this stuff called Awaken Your Alpha. We dive deeper into sexual mastery and these spiritual teachings that we get from Taoism, from Tantra, and how we can go ahead and implement the practices that allow us to differentiate between ejaculation and orgasm, okay? So that we can go ahead and experience multiple orgasms, so that we can form deep, fulfilling, satisfying relationships with our partner, and not just be sexual frustrated and angry and rageful, thinking that NoFap becomes part of your identity. All right, so you can check that out below if you're interested in that. We can get on a call and discuss whether we're a good fit to work together and how we can move you towards becoming the multi-orgasmic man, towards experiencing those higher levels of consciousness, and of using sexuality as a bridge towards higher levels and deeper levels of spirituality as well. All right, so just wanted to give you a different frame on all of this stuff, because it's not all rainbows and butterflies with NoFap. It's not all superpowers. That energy has to be transmuted, and the large cause that is causing a lot of guys to become confused about this stuff is the difference between ejaculation and orgasm. Okay, they're not the same thing. Keep that in mind, and if you want to learn more about it, definitely click the link below. With all that being said, click the like button if you liked it, click the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, and leave a comment letting me know what you want to learn from me, and I'll definitely make some more videos on that as well. Okay, this has been Saleem, and I'll see you in the next video.